You always look like the hero when you're winning. So, Brett Goode, former Razorback, former Green Bay Packer, now with Henderson Phillips, joins us here on the Morning Rush in his normal Wednesday spot. Have you completed your bracket yet for the tournament that begins? I guess begins tomorrow at 11 officially. So.
I have. I logged onto your site like I did last year and got it all completed.
All right, who's in your Final Four?
Well, I'm actually going to be a little SEC biased. So I've got Kentucky in there and I've got Auburn in there. And so it'll be kind of interesting to see what it comes down to.
Brett's already ahead of the ESPN Arkansas curve because not a single one of our employees.
Well, mine's in there, but it's not completed yet.
You filled out like 6 of them. I've
got one bracket. What are you talking about?
No, I'm saying you filled out like 6 games. I just saw your bracket this morning.
I'm still doing the research. You got a lot of research that goes into this.
Didn't Ty not even get started last year?
That's incorrect. I was
framed. Thank you, Brett, for bringing that up.
Falsified information, falsified documents like it usually is against me.
There are screen grabs that will back up this point.
Just the same old crap I have to deal with as the young buck.
Back the clock up on the computer and the server. It was a whole mess.
It's tough to be the young, talented guy around here, Brett. I have to deal with a lot of people persecuting me.
Well, you were at the Beaver Saloon and you couldn't really get it out.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi wasn't great in there. Brett, I want to talk a little football with you for a sec because spring ball has started as of Sunday. Kind of take us and walk us through. We touched on it a little bit last week, but do guys like the first couple days of spring ball, or is it just like, man, we got to do this and we don't have the season for 150 plus days?
Particularly with spring break being the next week.
It's both. You get the young guys that are trying to really make a name for themselves and try to get almost solidify yourself as a starter moving forward. Going into fall, because you want to have a good spring. And the other thing is you're getting out of the 5 a.m. workouts, so all the running and just actually lifting weights. You're able to get out there and hit, and so it's a happy medium. That they've really done a phenomenal job with having practices and spring break and kind of breaking it up, just to kind of get the guys going through the motion. And so it's good for both sides. It's good to get out there and see everybody. You have all your new guys that came in this spring, and so everybody's kind of just molding this team and trying to see where all the pieces are going to land.
When it comes to the older guys, we heard from Sam Pittman on Thursday that KJ Jefferson and Jalen Catalon are not going to be limited, and I know that may be more of just a showman term. I just wonder, how much do the older veteran guys who have their starting positions locked up, a.k.a. a bumper pool, some of the offensive line, how much work do they do in spring ball relative to some of the younger guys that are trying to either earn a starting spot or a backup spot?
I think you're full go. I mean, you're not like 100% full speed tackling, but you think of the NFL, all these guys that have, they miss training camp or they do really light training camp and don't play a lot of preseason games, and they always struggle, the first few games of the season. And that's the same thing with it. Like your times now, you're getting to build that relationship with all the receivers and the new faces and the guys. Yes, you have training camp that's going to do that as well, but this is that first step, and you're allowed to just get out there and kind of see everything, the new team kind of getting into its form, because last year's team's over, and your performance that you had last year's over. And even if somebody would have won the Heisman, I'd say the same thing is, you got to back it up. And so where are you going to take that next step? Are we going to, move forward as a team and as a player specifically? Or are you going to kind of have a bad year because you really didn't go out there and put all the effort for this time of year?
When you have a new position coach, you've met, you've sat in the office, you've maybe watched film, you've had dinner. What's it like the first time you step on the field? Because you got 2 new position coaches at Arkansas, and I think that's one of the, maybe not the main headline of what you're watching, but 2 on the defensive side with your defensive line and in your secondary. How much of that should we pay attention to? Because I think that's that is a story worth watching on a defense that has to be rebuilt in so many places.
It is, and you're looking at the communication level, like how the guys are they learning in the classroom? Are they understanding this defense? They coming together, and are they getting coached well? Everybody's going to make a mistake. This is that time of year where things are changing. You're putting in new wrinkles. Guys are trying new positions, and when you have those coaches, how are they interacting with the players and the other coaches? Obviously, we feel like they're a good fit because of the way that Sam's coaching staff has gone, and we kind of understand that. And so that's what you're looking for is just the interaction and those guys improving throughout spring and get them that stepping stone moving into the summer and into training camp.
If you had to break down the pie or percentages 0 to 100 on offense, defense, special teams, and where you're most interested or maybe your biggest level of concern is, for heading into next year, where are you at kind of in those three phases of the game as far as what to watch now and where you need to be, going into August?
Well, I think, we had two games that came down to, a punt block, I think. And so those things are, viable. We got some new specialists coming in. So, we've talked about Jordan Silver. So that's going to be one key is how that's going to kind of take over. But, the defense and the offense, how they are going against each other, the good on good and then the guys that are second and third string, are they really taking those reps seriously? Because they can really make a step forward. And unfortunately, somebody always does get hurt in the spring. You don't want that to happen. And so it's going to be that next guy stepping up and really just kind of seeing how this plays out, seeing how the offense and defensive line are battling each other and who's getting better, because one of the groups is going to get better than the other. And honestly, our offensive line, if they can just take that next step forward and protect KJ, and we know what our offense can do when we can protect him and establish the run.
Because I'm at like 70% defense right now. I'm more in on what's happening on the defensive side of the ball this spring than the other two phases of the game. Doesn't mean they're not important, but got your quarterback. You maybe have found your replacement for Burks with Hazelwood. So I mean, defense. You're rebuilding at every spot, so to speak. So I mean, that's kind of where I'm at right now, Brett.
And it's rightfully so that you have that opinion because our defense has started out hot the last few years, and then we've kind of had a little lull, and then we've picked it up, and we are replacing a ton of guys, and you've got it's next man up, and the good teams can do that. And we've got to see where our next man up, if they can actually go out there and perform. And that's really going to go on the coaching staff of not only coaching them on the field for how they're, we're starting to see these recruits that they've been recruiting, now that we're in the third year, and these guys actually going to be able to perform and how well of a job they've done in the strength room.
Brett, let's dive into some NFL news. Tom Brady announced he's coming back. In your opinion, why?
I think, well, one, you look at that contract that Aaron got, and I think you say, well, I get almost $50 million, might as well come back. I think that he took some time off, and his body started feeling a little bit better over these last 2 months since the season's been over. And then, there's a lot of jokes saying he didn't want to spend a whole lot of time with his kids this time of year, but they're in school, and he's got a nanny, I'm sure. So I think it's the money, and he doesn't want to go out the way he did. I think he wants to try and go out as a Super Bowl champion, and Russell Wilson getting traded to Denver, you've really got, Green Bay, you've got L.A. with the Rams, and you've got Tampa. And those are the three contenders right now for the NFC with a legitimate chance for a Super Bowl. So his odds are really good right now.
On the Aaron contract, I know they're still trying to work through what they're going to do with Devontae Adams, but there have been some people questioning, with Aaron take all that money, are they going to have enough to surround him with this upcoming season? What is your opinion on when quarterbacks get these massive contracts? Brady's like the 14th or 15th highest paid QB because he wants more talent around him. What are your thoughts on Aaron taking what is looked to be as the highest paid NFL contract for a quarterback, at least year to year?
Well, it's the way that they've written this contract is really interesting, and I agree. Most of the time when you've seen the quarterbacks have gotten super high up there in pay on the cap, those teams aren't winning the Super Bowl because they can't put the talent around them. And what they've done with this contract is it's really a 2-year extension. Even though it says 3-year, 150, it's a 2-year, $124 million deal. So he's saying he's going to play for 2 years. If he were to retire after this year, Green Bay would have to have, it's like almost $99 million in dead money that they'd have to hold on to. So he could really, turn the franchise upside down if he were to retire or not play next year. But it's the commitment that he's shown, and it frees up a lot of cap space for this year to be able to sign some guys. I don't know if they'll be able to get a deal done with Devontae. He's already said he's not going to play under the franchise tag, and they've already offered him $23 million a year, so and he turned that down. So it's going to be interesting. They've re-signed a couple of guys on defense and let a few go. One on the defensive side and one on the offensive side. So they're making some moves, and just like everybody else, they're all trying to get everything going and get ready for the draft. What's
more complicated, the tax code or the salary cap? Which is easier to maneuver and figure out?
I think once you figure out one, it's whatever field that's in. The salary cap's interesting because not only you have the salary cap, but you have the dead money that carries over from year to year. And then the ability to rework the numbers. The Packers were terrible to start this offseason. with having no money on the cap, and then all of a sudden they've restructured deals and figured out a way, and they've freed up a lot of money. And so if you're able to work that cap, I think you have a lot more room to work on the cap than you do with the IRS and the government begging them. So I'd say the cap's a lot more fun to play with.
Yeah, and the NFL's audits may not be any more fun as well. Brett Goode with Henderson Phillips joins us every Wednesday when it comes to health benefits for your employees and welfare benefits for employees, human resources and administration solutions. That's a lot of times we kind of lose track of the idea or the thought that you can help with so many things on the HR side, whether it's compliance, whether it's equal employment, wage and hours, so many things, drug-free workplace. You got so many programs you can also work through. Someone listening this morning that needs help with HR.
That's right. Not only on the health side and all the way through Medicare, we do HR consulting. We'll come in and sit down with you. We can sit there long term. We can just help you out as needed, and it really works out with the background of our company.
Plus staffing and talent management solutions. Ask Brett about all of those things. The number you can reach him at is 651-2292. Henderson Phillips, great company. Brett's there, former Razorback and Green Bay Packer. That's 651-2292. All right, good luck with your bracket, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.
All right, sounds good. Thanks,
that time of year as college basketball takes center stage with the tournament finally upon us. If you're looking to wager this year, BetOnline is the #1 spot for all your updated odds and info, along with great contests, including the bracket contest, where you can have a chance to take home the top prize. Head over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE to get started. That's BLEAV. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Bet online, where the game starts.